Okay, welcome to part two of the playoff edition of Sports from the Stool. We're looking at round two this time. Our round one predictions proved to be pretty much on the mark. I think we both picked every series the same. We both only got two series wrong. Montreal and Washington we got wrong, and Buffalo and Boston we got wrong. And I guess the only way we got Montreal that series wrong was because of Halak.
Yeah.
He stole the last two games. He stole probably the last three games. I mean, realistically, they had no business winning that series, but they did, and that's the way it goes in the playoffs sometimes. Boston, give that team credit. I thought they were left for dead, and I thought Ron Miller was going to just play fantastic. Buffalo was going to roll, but it didn't happen. So, your quick impressions on round one?
Like you say, pretty much went to what my predictions were. I said if anyone predicted Montreal over the Capitals,
You'd be lying.
You're a Habs fan, because I don't think anyone else predicted that one. But again, like you say, with the other one that we got wrong, I mean, that's what just happens when you run into a hot goaltender. So.
Okay, and I guess on to round two now. We're going to start with, I guess, our favorite teams in the East, of course, the Philadelphia Flyers. They're going to take on the Boston Bruins. Pittsburgh's going to take on Montreal. As you can see, if Trevor can zoom in there a little bit here, I got the playoff period working here. The Flyers are going to have a long playoff run. I'm probably going to look like Santa Claus in a few weeks here, but that's the sacrifice I'd make for Sports from the Stool. But anyway, I think the Flyers are going to they're going to prevail again against Boston. They're going to win a 6-game series. I don't think Boston has the offensive firepower. Mark Savard's coming back. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think that's dangerous against a physical team like the Flyers to come back with a concussion injury. I'm hoping he gets through the series, but I think it's going to be a 6-game win for the Flyers. Greg, what do you think?
I think I'd have to agree. With Jeff Carter and Simone out there, Gagne, with most teams that would probably be a crippling thing, but their young players have stepped up. Drew's had a really, really good series, first-round series, so I just think that they have the offensive depth to get by Boston.
Basically, the Flyers now without Giroux, or without Gagne and without Carter, they've gone from a 3-line team to a 2-line team. So those 2 lines are going to have to score, obviously, and Boucher's going to have to play well. If Boucher plays well again, I think the Flyers do win this series.
Yeah.
Okay, Pittsburgh.
Well,
Pittsburgh and Montreal. Can Halak steal another series? Can he do that?
No, sorry. I'm sorry, but when they flashed up that stat of having a .980 save percentage in the last 3 games that they won, there's no Hall of Fame goaltender that's had a save percentage like that. So I'm sorry, it's a nice story, but the Cinderella story ends.
It did bring a tear to my eye, though, looking at Alexander Ovechkin, in the post-game interviews. He looked so sad. It really made me sad, You know how great a fan I am of Ovechkin, and to see him out of the playoffs is really heart-wrenching for me. So I'll have to move on and try to get through the rest of the playoffs without Ovechkin. It's going to be tough, but I'll try. Okay, so I think Pittsburgh is going to win that series as well. I don't think Montreal has any more miracles left in them. I think they're done. I mean, the way they got outplayed by Washington, like I said, it's a nice story, but they got thoroughly dominated by Washington, and I don't see that changing against Pittsburgh. So we're both in agreement. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia going to move on to the third round. Now we go on to the West. You have to start with the hometown boy, Devin Setaguchi and the Sharks. You predicted in the first round Detroit was going to beat San Jose. You still feel the same way?
Yes, I do, and I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to cheer for the hometown boy, but guess what? Hopefully, maybe there might be a little bit of reverse mojo going on.
Yeah.
I was always going on the big San Jose gravy train, and they were getting knocked out, so maybe I can do some reverse mojo here and say, and doubt them, and now they're going to win again. So, if Detroit hadn't responded the way that they did in Game 7 against Phoenix on the road, the way that they did, I think maybe my vote would have been swayed right there. But it's sort of something like just the way that they just showed their veteran presence with absolutely annihilating Phoenix in Game 7. So if they had played a little bit differently, I think maybe my vote would be swayed back to San Jose. But if San Jose can do it, man, I'm going to start believing when it gets to that Western Conference Final. So
I'm going to start believing right now. I think the Sharks, their second line with Klopp, Pavelski, and Setaguchi have been fantastic. If they can keep that up, I mean, eventually Setaguchi, Thornton, and Marleau have to come around. If they can come around in this series, and the Setaguchi line can keep playing like they are, I think the Sharks have a real chance. It's going to be a tough series.
But that's the big
if. It's going to be tough. So I'm predicting the Sharks in 7.
But that's the big if, is that you can't just be relying on. In fact, Setaguchi was probably the best player out there in round 1 for the Sharks. but you can't just be relying on just your second line. So I mean, the time is now for their first line to step up.
Oh yeah, I mean, if the first line doesn't step up and have, at least get a couple points per game this series, it's not going to go the way that I want to. But
Yeah.
I think the time is now. They're going to have to do it now. If they don't do it now, they're never going to. I think it's going to happen. Sharks in 7. That's my prediction.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Detroit's not Colorado, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Vancouver, Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago torched Luongo last year. Kane and Luongo have a bit of a rivalry. Can Luongo play well for another series? Can he get to the next round, Greg?
I'm sorry, I'm being the American teams here, but I've got to say that I'm going to pick Chicago again. Again, I don't. Of course, Vancouver has a huge advantage in goaltending, but Luongo has shown a history of stinking it up every once in a while for that one game. And in a 7-game series, that one game could be everything. I think Chicago doesn't need fantastic goaltending; they just need average goaltending.
And I mean, Luongo was shaky in probably 2 of those games against the Kings. But I mean, the Blackhawks have their problems too. Niemi hasn't been great either. I think this is going to go 7 again. I think Vancouver's going to pull it out. I think in game 6 and 7, when it's on the line, Luongo's going to come through for him, and he's going to pull it out. I'm saying Canucks in 7.
Holy, so now I guess we're agreeing to disagree in the West here. So I guess I'm going to be picking Chicago,
Which is not a bad pick either. I mean, that series it's a toss-up. I think both series in the West can go either way. I think the East ones are a little more clear-cut.
Yeah.
I think anyway. The West ones I think are a toss-up. But
So I see that our choices are diverging a little bit in the semifinals here. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed this week's edition of Sports from the Stool. See you guys later.
all right.